Hello, my friends on YouTube. Once again, we meet. Today, actually, I would like to speak to you. I don't want to expose Muhammad anymore for now. Um, However, there are a couple of things are happening in the Middle East area, in the Middle East region, that they are disturbing. So, this video I decided to call. I made a video before about a year ago, and it was called Signs to be Observed, and I'll call this one Signs to be Observed number 2. Okay, uh, in Egypt, um, the government issued a warning for the stores that they sell the yellow jackets, the same jackets, or vests rather, sold in France. The yellow vest movement, that they are objecting rise the rising of the price of fuel as well as food. That's one. In Egypt, they you have to have a special permission from a company that, let's say, you work with the police or the fire department or the uh, road construction to be able to buy these vests. Other than that, you're not allowed to buy that. And that's a very interesting sign from the government to issue this warning. It means the government knows very well that there is dissatisfaction in Egypt. And Egypt is a vital Arab nation. Unfortunately, now it's called Arab. That's another issue. Originally, we were not Arabs. Okay. Uh, Egypt is looked at as if it is the United States of the Middle East. So all Muslim countries and Arab countries look up to Egypt. And if Egypt catches fire, like what's going on now in Paris, it will be a disaster on the Middle East region. How we know it's a disaster? About 4 days ago or 5 days ago, uh, a province in Sudan, Sudan is south of Egypt. They used to be one country, but Sud until 1952 they were one country, Egypt and Sudan. So if when we hear that one province in Sudan, at least 8 students were killed in protest and tens are injured, we ask why. Why? Because they were protesting the prices of fuel and food. Same thing in France and Sudan. What happens in Egypt reflects in Sudan. Whatever happens in Sudan is reflected in Egypt, because we still feel that we are one nation, one country. So there is this dissatisfaction in Egypt and in Sudan. However, Egypt anticipated this to happen, and they are preventing the stores from selling these yellow vests to the public. It didn't need the yellow vest. Sudan is objecting without a yellow vest. And the mayor of this region in Sudan ordered the police not to use force. So imagine, without using force or little force or whatever, this is what he said. 8 students at least were killed and tens were injured because of the price of fuel and the price of food. Now, the price of food, as it is in Egypt, it's all socialist system. The whole region wanted to be a socialist system. And why? Let's clear up this point first. Why socialist system? Because socialist system, the government is able to control the public. Okay, I subsidize your food, your drink, your gasoline, and you shut your mouth up and you follow and obey. Of course, to accomplish that, they are using the religious authority. They work together hand in hand. The government and not the religious in general, the Islamic religious authority. Because Muhammad, I'm saying Islamic because there are about 10% Coptic Christian in Egypt, or 10% Christian in Egypt. But the Islamic teaching, Muhammad told the Muslim people, you have to obey the leader even if he whip your back. If he hits your back with a whip, you have to follow him. Even if he's wrong, you must follow him. So the government wants the people to follow as cattle by using the religious authority, the Islamic religious authority, to tell them, yes, you are cattle. This is the caliphate, or this is the man in charge, and the Prophet said you follow him. Even if he's wrong, you must follow. And at the end, some crumbs goes to the religious authority to keep doing what they are doing. Now, one time I was in Egypt before President Mubarak was taken out, and there was also a lot of dissatisfaction among the Egyptian people. And what happened was, regardless of how much the tight grip of the police, the security branch, or I don't know how to say that, anyway, similar to the secret police, okay? They keep people under control. So, and the army, to intimidate people that they have to follow. So at certain point, that grip, regardless of how hard it was, people managed to get rid of it. And Mubarak was pushed out. The problem is, from the time Egypt was a kingdom, the year 1952, until this moment, 2018, we are under military control. And when you have the military is controlling the country, anybody who tries to open his mouth, you have tanks standing against you. Not just handguns, tanks, airplanes, helicopters, all the police forces. And despite of all of that, at certain point, the Egyptian people were able to throw Mubarak out, the former president. We had two choices. Both of them are very bad, one worse than the other. It's either we go back to the military system, or we submit to the religious authority to control us. I say they are both very bad, but the Islamic religious authority is evil, is satanic. So, which shows the lesser evil, thank God, which shows the military again. Now, Egypt was a socialist country. That means we have subsidization to the main elements that we need: food, gasoline, uh, and so on. Other things too. I'm not sure. I don't live there. So, in the year 1977, President Sadat wanted to actually get rid of this subsidization and have the country work and produce and compete. When you produce, that's your own, the fruit of your labor. You keep that. But when it's socialist system, the government is subsidizing everything, so people become lazy. They don't produce, and they pretend they are working, and the government pretend that they are paying them salary, and everybody's happy. However, the country slips backward. Everybody becomes lazy and nobody's producing, so no income. Okay, and the government actually is happy with that situation. Why? Because they can control the public. Okay, I'm feeding you. So what they do is they get donations, or America and Europe donate certain amount of money to Egypt every year. Plus, they tax business people who are working hard. They overtax them. This money, they give some of it to the poor in form of subsidization to the food, so that they shut them up. They shut them up. That's the socialist system that since we came out of the monarchy system of kingdom 1952 until today, the government is controlling the people using this system. 1977, when President Sadat wanted to get rid of that system, that subsidization system, that failing system, that socialist system, unfortunately, the people, I don't know, there were some people pushed them to rebel. They came out and they actually destroyed the street, they destroyed the public properties and so on and so forth, which it tells me that the people are in ignorance. The Middle Eastern people, unfortunately, at least back then, they had no uh, allegiance to their country, no love to their nation, no nothing. They just wanted to burn. When we see what's happening in Paris, French people have certain vision to what they want. And I believe once this is met, everyone will go home. It is not just a revolution because of the love of the revolution, but they have demands because the government is socialist, similar to what's happening in Egypt. So people are overtaxed. And with that, even they are raising up the price of fuel, people exploded. Now, when we go back to the Middle East region, Egypt and Sudan as almost one country now, they are rebelling against the same thing, the rising cost of food and fuel. Okay? When this is happening, regardless of how strong the grip of the government on the people, it will loosen up, as it happened at the time of President Mubarak. These signs are happening today. If It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. And I'm saying that with sad heart because I don't want this to happen. But it seems to be happening. That the country is losing the grip. And it is silly to prevent people from buying these yellow vests. It's silly because in Sudan they didn't need the yellow vest to start go out and demonstrate knowing that some of them would be killed. They went out, they exploded, and the same will happen in Egypt. I see these signs, and it's not only Egypt and Sudan. Even Saudi Arabia, the Saudi people have had enough. If you believe in God, pray that this will pass. That things, the governments of these countries will have enough wisdom to change things around quickly before it's too late. Otherwise, the whole region will actually go up in flame. It's not that I want that, it's not that I'm hoping for that, but let's hope that it will pass peacefully. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again.